Hey guys, my name is Alexandra Valentine and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. For my returning subscribers, you're welcome once again. So in today's tutorial class, we are going to be drafting this overbust corset. It's been trending for a while and I just decided to lay my hands on it. So what we are going to do right now is just to draw out our basic bodies. So I'm just marking my starting line. And on that starting line now, I am just going to mark my shoulder measurement, which is my shoulder measurement divided by 2. And what I have, I'm going to mark it. So for mine, it's 7.5 because my shoulder measurement is 15. So 7.5 divided by 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So I'm just marking it down. And from that 7.5, I am going to mark downwards. I'm going to come downwards by 9 inches. Then on that 9 inches, I'm also going to make sure that it is on the 7.5 so that when I'm connecting it, it will be straight, okay? So I'm going to connect the 2 points in a straight line and then also extend my 9 inches in a straight line. This is just for our armhole. And this, what I'm just doing here is my basic bodies. So right now I am going to be marking my vertical measurements, which is my bust point, under bust, waistline, and the top length. Okay, so I just remembered that this is an overbust corset and the armhole is supposed to go up a little bit, so I did my armhole 9 inches. So I'm just trying to take it up. So instead of 9 inches, I'm going to mark 8 inches so that the whole of your armhole area will not be exposed. Okay, so I just took it to 8 inches and then I'll rule my line. Now back to ruling all those points that we marked earlier. That's the bust point, the under bust, waistline, and the top length. Okay, I'm just going to be drawing a straight line on those points and making the straight line, like extending the straight line. Okay, so this is me marking those points. So I've marked my bust point. Now I'm marking my under bust, my waistline, which is at 17 inches. Okay, then from that 17 inches I'm going to mark my hip line. Okay, so I'm coming down from my waistline by 9 inches, which is where my hip is situated. Then I'll start extending those points into a very long line. Now that I am done with that, I am going to be marking my that leg. So I'm going to put my that exactly like the measurements divided by 2. That's my nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'm putting it exactly because this is a pattern paper. So when we are cutting it out on our fabric, we are going to add the 1/2 inch for stitching allowance. Okay, so I'm going to, those points now that I marked on all the lines, I'm going to extend it in a straight line. Then from the bust point, I'm coming up by 1.5 for my first chest line. So I'm going to extend that point into a straight line too. And this is my chest line. Now I'm going to also mark my that on my hip line and just extend the that point into a straight line as well. So after that is done, I am going to create my armhole. Okay, so from my starting point to where my armhole stops, which is at 18 inches, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slant and then find the midpoint. Then on the midpoint, I'll mark 1/2 inch there, like towards the bodice. Then I'm going to, on the horizontal line, I'm going to mark my bust measurement divided by 4. So I'll just connect all those 3 points together. So from that half inch to where the bust measurement divided by 4 is, then all the way to the shoulder slant point. So we are going to mark 3 inches on the starting line from the edge of the paper, and then we're just going to connect it to that 1 inch we came down by. So right now I am going to be marking all my body measurements, which is my waist measurement divided by 4, my hip measurement divided by 4 as well. We've already done that for the bust area when we were trying to create the armhole. So we are just going to connect those 3 points into a straight line, okay? So now I am going to be coming down from my bust point by 1.5 inch, which is the differences between my waistline in front and my waistline at the back. That's from my shoulder to my waist in front and my shoulder to my waist at the back. So after marking that, I'm just going to connect it in a straight line to meet the bust point on the shoulder on the that leg, sorry. From there now, I am going to be dividing what I have of my shoulder, that's from the shoulder to the neckline, into 2, and I'll connect it to the bust point like this. This is the reason why I did not extend that leg all the way, like the previous that leg, all the way to the chest line, because it's not going to be useful anyway. We are just going to be connecting from the bust point to the shoulder dart. So what I'm doing now, I'm marking 1 inch on my under bust, my waistline, and my hip area. I'm marking 1 inch on both sides of the dart leg. So I'm going to connect those 1 inch into a straight line. Mind you, this 1 inch is it's just going to start from the under bust downwards. It's not on the bust point. It's not starting on the bust point. Just from the under bust, waistline, and the blouse length or the hip area. Okay. Then from the under bust, I'm going to connect it in a curve to meet the bust point, like this on one side, and then the other side I'll repeat the same thing as well. Just connect it from that 1 inch point, connect it to meet the bust point in a curve, and make sure that the curve is facing outside, like it's curving inwards and not outwards. I don't know if that makes sense. If you've gotten to this part of the video, thank you so much. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to join the family, okay? So, and guys, if you want me to do a video of basic bodies and how to take proper measurements, please also let me know in the comments below. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to get my upper chest line. Remember the first chest line we did? I was like, that's our first chest line. So I'm getting my upper chest line for this particular corset. So on that leg now, I am marking 0.75 inch instead of 1 inch. I'm marking 0.75 inch. So I'm going to connect it in a straight line to meet the bust point. So this is going to be done on the upper chest line, not on the lower chest line. Okay. So I'm going to connect from that upper chest line to meet the shoulder in a straight line. So guys, just watch what I'm doing and also do the same thing, and you get exactly what I got, the same results I got. So I'm just trying to mark out with my marker to make the important parts to be very bold and visible, okay? So at this point, I am going to cut through on the bust line. On the bust line, I'm going to cut through until I meet um the nipple point. Okay, then I am going to fold up or close up this shoulder dart. I'm going to close it up. The reason why we are closing this up is for us to be able to get our neckline. Okay, so I'm going to close this up, and we have to also cut through that bust area so that this will be flexible for us to fold it up. So you must cut it out first before you'll be able to close up the shoulder dart. Okay, so I'm just trying to fold it on the middle line, and then I'll close it up on the other line. Just practically close up the shoulder dart. So right now I'm done closing it up, and I'm going to just add ½ inch around the armhole. So I'll use my curve ruler now to connect those points in a smooth curve. Okay, just ½ inch around the armhole. After that is done, I'm going to draw out the depth of the neckline. Just draw out the neckline. Remember, this is an overbust corset, and it has a very sharp V point and also a depth at the middle. So from that first chest line, I'm going to use my curve ruler to curve it all the way to the second chest line to meet the dart leg. Then I am also going to, from that dart point, connect it to meet my bust measurement. When you're doing this, you must make sure that your curve is facing downwards and not upwards. Okay, so after that, now we can be able to open up the dart leg. After we've opened it up, we can now go ahead and cut on the shoulder dart. Okay, we can cut through, and when we get to the bust point, we are going to stop. I'm not supposed to cut it out completely, but that was just a mistake, but it does not mean anyways. So I'm just going to cover up that my side dart. You see the way I did it? Just do the same thing to yours. You either use a pin, tape, gum, whatever it is you have, to hold it down so that it will not be moving. In my own case, I use pins to hold it down because I cannot lay my hands on gum. Now after that is done, we are going to be snatching our waistline. Now remember, we've removed one inch on the bust dart, on the dart leg. That's 2 inches, right? What is left on the side front is what we are going to divide into 2, and then on that marked point, that's on the waistline, I'm going to draw a straight line. In this case, I'm drawing a slanted straight line. Okay, I'm just going to draw a straight line to meet the top part and also the hip line. Okay, so we have another line here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove just 1/4 inch on both sides of that line that I wrote. Okay, then when I am done, I'm going to connect it in a straight line also to meet that hip line on the both sides. Okay, now I'll also connect those 2 points to meet the underbust, not the top part. Just this straight line I'm doing now is supposed to stop at the underbust. So mine is stopping at the top part, but I later corrected myself, because if it stops at the top part, that means it's going to affect the bust area. There's going to be a reduction at the bust area, so it's best you stop it at the under bust. Okay, now back to the armhole pads. I'm just going to transfer the curve I have on that armhole area to meet the other half inch that I added. Remember, we added half inch around the armhole area, so I'm going to meet it. Then I'm going to cancel the lower one, which is the former one I did. Okay, so from that point now, I'm going to just connect it to meet the waistline, and also connect it to meet the hip line with my marker, just to make everything very bold right now. Now I'm going to use my curve ruler again to just curve it out. I know it's going to look like it's bigger than the original waist, or yeah, the original hip size, but that's the illusion you're supposed to have. It's supposed to be at least 1 or 2 inch bigger than the original waist size. So I'm just marking 4 inches from that side downwards, from the waist side downwards. Then at the center front, I'm marking 6 inches. So I'm going to just connect the 2 points to meet each other with a curve ruler. Please note, when drawing out this line, the center front is supposed to be straight so that it will meet the side front, and one will not be longer than the other. Do you understand? You see, I use a straight ruler to just straighten out that center front. And I'll just go ahead and use my marker to make everything bold and visible. You can now go ahead to label this up so that you don't get confused. So that's my center front, my middle front, and my side front. So I'm just going to go ahead and shade out the part that will be taken out. Okay, and I'm also indicating 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just shading out the part that is going to go out. So the total number we took out from our waist snatching is 2.5 inch. Remember, we took out quarter inch on the side, and also we took out 1 inch on the dart leg. So that's a total of 2.5 inches. Okay, so just do what works for you. For me, I just took out 2.5 inch. You might want to take out about 3 to 4 inches. That's the maximum, 4 inches, especially if you're a plus size. So I'm just going to go ahead now and cut out my pattern. So just watch me the way I cut it out, then you can do the same for yours. Please pardon me, I have a cold and my voice is not all that clear today. So by the time we are done, we'll have 3 pieces of paper. Now let's just move to the back part. I've also gone ahead to draw my basic bodice. I did not want to waste time on it, so I just went ahead to draw my basic bodice. That's the armhole, the shoulder slant, my vertical measurements, which are my bust points, waistline, and hip line. Mind you, for a corset that is going to have eyelet at the back, it's not going to have zip allowance, so it's just basically the same basic bodice as the front. Okay, so the only difference of the armhole, because the front armhole is different from the back armhole, so that's just it. So right now, what I'm showing you guys is remember we did a side dart and we removed 1.5 inch. That means our back waist measurement instead of 17 will be 15 and a half. That's 17 minus 1.5, which is going to be 15 and a half. So by the time we merge the back and the front together, it's just going to align perfectly because we removed 1.5 in front. Okay, that's at the side. That so I'm just going to label out my line so you guys will not be confused as to what line it is. So now I brought the front side front on paper, just to show you guys that you see it aligning just from the armhole area line to where the waistline is. You can see it's aligning. So I'm just trying to trace out the excess curve I have there so that it's just be easier for me. So I'm just tracing it out from with the front paper. Then I'll come down by 6" at the towards the edge of the paper, just like we did in front. Now I'm going to mark my that measurement, which is 3.5. So I'm just going to mark it there. Mark it on the waistline, bust point, and also the hip line. Then I'll connect all the points together. After that is done, I'm going to use my curve ruler to just connect those 2 points I marked earlier. Now back to our dart leg, I'm going to be taking out one half inch on both sides. Okay, remember what we took out from the front part is just 2.5 inches. So I'm taking out half inch on both sides on the waistline on this dart leg. So that's a total of 1 inch. So the total number of inches we took out from our waist is 3.5, which is a good number. So I'm just going to take that out. And also remember when I was drafting the basic bodice, I added 2 inches allowance, but for a corset like this, we do not need any allowance. We just need to add our stitching allowance when cutting it on the fabric. So I just took it out and I'm retracing the curve I have there. Okay, so I'll just retrace. I'm just going to connect that point now to meet the curve I have going on in front, and that's just it. So if you've gotten to this part of the video, thank you so much. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to join the family, okay, because we post amazing and helpful tutorials here. So the next thing I'm going to do now is just to extend the armhole line, because this is where it's going to stop. After that, I am going to illustrate how we are going to fix our eyelet and boning. So I'm going to just draw 3 lines on the edge of the paper, just like half of an inch apart from each other. So this is the second line now. I'm going to draw this third straight line, just half inch apart from each other. Okay, so the first and the third casing that you see there is going to be for the boning, while the middle one is going to be for the eyelets, just like I indicated. So right now I'm just going to go ahead now and cut this out, and you just practically watch me. So I'm going to cut this into 2 through the dart leg. Okay, I'm going to cut out the dart. So I'm cutting this all the way to the top, and I'm going to remove the the half inch. That's just the same way I traced it. Okay. So that is it. Please do not forget, by the time you are done, please always make sure to label your pattern. So that is my center back and my side back. So we've come to the end of this segment. Please subscribe if you want to see the sewing part, and also give this video a thumbs up so that it will reach more people. You can also share to your loved ones or to people who you know who find it very helpful. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.